This is Let's Talk Business with your hosts, Marc Ebinger and Howie Nestel. Now, here's Marc.
Welcome to Let's Talk Business, a show that talks entrepreneurship with some of the best businesses in the San Antonio area. Coming up on the show today, we're going to talk commercial insurance and professional soccer. Yeah, they go together in some weird fashion. I don't know what it is, but we'll figure it out. In studio with us today is Ted Henderson, a risk advisor and commercial insurance expert with InSource Insurance Agency. Ted, welcome back to the show.
Thanks for having me. Good to be back.
Bet. We're also going to talk with Cody Carlisle, a ticket sales representative at San Antonio FC. Cody, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Something that maybe not everybody knows is that the San Antonio Spurs own San Antonio FC. Is that correct?
That's right. Yeah, that's absolutely correct.
Sweet. In studio with us today is Howie Nestel, the owner of Sharkmatic Advertising. Yeah, he's took that name. It's such a cool name. Where he and his team have helped over 1,500 clients grow their marketing influence, including myself. They're working on both my websites. Howie, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Marc. Always uplifting to be here.
I know. I'm uplifting to be around. And I'm your host, Marc Ebinger, the owner of Crükus Marketing Agency, a company that specializes in giving small businesses a competitive edge by hiring low-cost virtual admin specialists and social media experts from outside the United States, which is how I built my entire company from 1 to 27 employees now. Love what's happening with that. Love leveraging virtual admin specialists from overseas. A quick reminder for our listeners, you can catch video and podcast versions of the show anytime by visiting our website at satalkradio.com, which you've got up on the screen. If you guys are watching on video, you want to focus on the guy on the left because that's like the whole, he's like the main attraction. And then you have Howie, I don't know.
Right, and Heather. And if you notice, the guy on the left side is taller than everybody else, but
What?
just on screen, not in person. The guy next to the Tower of the Americas.
Yeah, that was actually done on purpose. Yeah.
That makes sense.
Howie caught that. I feel like
sit
I've
up a
been
little
busted.
straighter.
I don't know what's
Hang on
going
one
on.
second.
All right, so if you're a business owner in the San Antonio area and would like to have your company featured on the show, visit our website at satalkradio.com or call our office at 210-879-8804. That's 210-879-8804, and my podcast manager will get you set up. We're going to be launching the virtual, being able to bring people in, via Zoom into the studio, which is cool because we'll be able to talk to people all over the United States, no matter where they're at. So we'll be looking for all the cool kids with big audiences to bring it in. And you can give them your Howieisms.
I love it. And by the way, all kidding aside, it's better to share than to compare. So I know we're not comparing. I'm honored to be your co-host for today.
I'm honored to be your co-host. I feel like I'm his co-host sometimes. He does a great job. Okay, so we're all in the networking business, right? I mean, that's what we do. We connect people. Cody, I've got a referral for you that I'm working on. I'll connect you guys after the show here. But we're always looking for opportunities to do that. And I know that, Ted, you are out there constantly you do a fantastic job, by the way, networking. I know your LinkedIn network's almost at 1,000 right now. I actually looked that up to see. But so we're working in it full time. But when it comes to social media, and I really kind of was harping on Cody about this not too long ago, but leveraging social media to not just to make new connections, but to stay top of mind with our current connections is one of the first things that we should be looking to do when we make a new connection. And Howie, I actually kind of got this from you because I saw you practicing it on a regular basis hey, let's connect on social media. So Howie, what are your thoughts on using social media when it comes to business networking?
So your network is your net worth. I've been saying that for years. And I tell my kids, you're going to be the average of the 5 to 10 people you spend the most time with. So if that's true for children, it's absolutely true for entrepreneurs and business owners. You're going to be the average of the 5 to 10 people you spend the most time with who are your peers, entrepreneurs, clients. So if you hang out with broke people that are complaining about the president and the economy, you're probably going to be broke. But if you hang out with successful entrepreneurs, you're more likely to be successful. They're going to push you. Now, it doesn't feel as good. I'd rather be around people who don't accomplish as much as I do because that makes me feel better. But if I want to if I want to improve, I need to surround myself with people. If, let's say, business and increased revenue is a goal, which it should be for most entrepreneurs, then I want to hang out with people who are really doing a great job in both networking and bringing in new clients. And it always surprises me when I talk to entrepreneurs, and I've worked with 1,500 clients in 30 years in my ad agency, when they tell me, well, I'm not really a people person. I don't really like going out to events. You know, it's just kind of like not me. I'm like, why don't you just go get a job at a big corporate, you know, office where you can get 5 weeks of paid vacation, sit behind a cubicle, make your calls, and you don't have to network. But if you're going to be an entrepreneur, you better go out, press the flesh, meet people, connect on social media, follow each other, and do it in a genuine way where you're actually engaging.
So, Ted, where are you spending your time? On what platform or platforms?
Mostly LinkedIn. And that's just, the engagement, the social media that I do engage in, just, staying top of mind every once in a while. I'm not posting every week. I'm not posting every 2 weeks. Me personally, and, this isn't incongruence with, most people out there, but I have a quality over quantity mindset when it comes to the things that I post on. So it's really every once in a while whenever I'm posting. But LinkedIn is a good one for me. I still haven't really pinpointed, if I'm looking to go on offense as the person who's tailoring their content towards, business owners or other professionals in the space, or just, like acquaintances and colleagues that I'm connected with on LinkedIn. But it is true. I mean, staying top of mind is very important. And it's one of those things like your golf swing. You don't use it, you lose it. Muscle memory, it's the same thing, like, developing yourself as a brand and ingraining yourself as that person in people's minds through social media. It's very crucial.
And I know, Cody, you're more apprehensive for social media. So, about getting on it, is that correct?
Yeah, a little bit. I think just for me, I'm less afraid of the falling on my face and looking like a fool over the phone, I guess. I don't know. That's sort of my bread
That's
and butter
half the
has
fun,
been
though.
staying in front of people that way.
Just look like a fool once in a while.
Yeah. And personally, I'm just a lot more consistent as a first impression kind of person. I can sit and have a good lunch meeting with you, and that's where I'm going to make myself look good. And so, if I can get to you one time, I can get in front of you, and the rest is history.
So how do you use then social media should be what you're thinking is next. How do I use that to enhance my interpersonal communication that I have with people?
Right.
To Ted's point, top of mind awareness, but also I will tell you from, trying to always have my hair look perfect and using these beautiful Instagram filters, which I actually don't use, but when your real self comes through and you're more genuine and more authentic is when people engage with you more. I don't know if it's the algorithm or what, but it's good to be yourself, especially on social media, especially on video, and don't worry about those little hiccups and little mistakes and little whatever, even though we all do because we're self-conscious. But what's more endearing to prospects is that you're a real person and they can see themselves in you, and that's why they would want to do business with you.
Well, I think,
Well said.
Cody, that's your point. Is it you
Exactly
want to be
that.
you, and you're comfortable doing that in person, but how does that translate to then social media? Is
Right.
that's
So social media has kind of been a backup communication for me. It may not be, it's not the first, it's not the primary, it's not a proactive use of social media maybe, but it is something that I use, right? If I can find a person there, then I'll go to that length to make sure that I'm making. I will try for the first contact and die trying. that's kind of where mine comes from.
And you can run a successful business without ever being on social media, because I know there are viewers out there that are already saying, well, I'm not on social media and I do just fine. By the way, some things people, I'm not on social media. And then they'll say like, oh, I saw your talk on LinkedIn. That was really good. I go, I thought you weren't on social media. That's not social media. That's for business use.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, but it's a social media, whatever. But you can have success without being on social media. It's just more difficult. It's a tool like anything else. Email's a tool, video's a tool. Do you have to have all of these tools? You don't, but you should engage in some of them. And I always tell people, go to where your prospects are. Go to where your audience is. If they're on social media, maybe you should go and check in on them there a little bit. If they're on TV, then you advertise, during Judge Judy or whatever.
It's like, do you want to be good or do you want to be great? You know what I mean? It's like, to
good
me,
to
there's a
great.
driving force. I was talking to somebody earlier about, retiring from the police department and wanting to move away from that because I want to build a company. And I'm not just a company. I want to build a great company. I want to build a massive company. It's like, I want to be challenged in life and continue to grow. And, social media is just relevant. Like to Howie's point, you need to go where if your clients are there, you should be there. You should be making an effort to be there and showing up for them so they can, get to know you better and like you and trust you and want to buy your soccer tickets. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
All right, so let's get into it with Ted Henderson here. First up on the show is Ted Henderson, a risk advisor and commercial insurance expert with InSource Insurance Agency. So, Ted, good to have you back. You are getting close to that 1,000 connections on LinkedIn. I'm not sure are you growing pretty fast over there? Is it?
To be honest with you, I didn't even know I was approaching 1,000.
Yeah, it's 900 and something.
Yeah.
So good job.
I'll get it over 1,000.
Yeah, you will.
Connect with you right now.
How he can do that. So, all right. So when it comes to in commercial insurance, there's a lot to commercial insurance. It's no joke, right? You make a wrong decision before you get started, and then it turns into a mega issue. But what are the traits that a commercial insurance advisor, which you are, what kind of traits should you possess that we should be looking for as business owners when we go to hire you?
Yeah, by all means. So, it's very important that you're working with someone who's very familiar with the line of business or the industry that you're in. If you're a construction company doing general contracting, you want to be with an agent that's very strong in risk transfer and reading contracts, reading insurance requirements on those contracts, so on and so forth. And so you want someone who's very, very involved in that specific space that you're in. Even better, someone who's very familiar and engaged in the various associations that are relevant to that industry. So on and so forth.
How do you figure that out, though?
What do you mean? Like
mean,
as a business owner or as an agent?
As a business owner, how do we know you know what you're talking about, and we're just not walking into a pit somewhere of a money pit?
It'll take some falling on your face and trial and error, even as a business owner, to find that right agent. It's never the case where you're working with someone and you think, oh, well, they're the best there is, because how are you ever going to know? Usually it's, business owners find themselves with an agent for a year or two to 10 years to 15 years. And then they end up switching over to someone and being with them for a really long time. That's what you want. That's what you're looking for, is that long-lasting relationship where you're confident that you're with someone that really knows what's going on there.
That makes sense, but most business owners have no idea. They'll just ask somebody, hey, Mark, do you know anybody in insurance?
Right. Well, I was going to ask, if you were going to look for one right now, what would be your first step?
I would probably ask my competitors and partners in the industry, who do you work with? Are they good? Maybe can I get a referral for them? Okay. My colleagues who've been in the business for 25, 50 years, most of the new business they're writing is coming directly through referrals from their clients that they work with that have been with them for so long. They know firsthand that these guys are the cream of the crop. We're going to refer them out.
Gotcha. What do you want to let Ted off the hook here? Because if we're competitors in business, I don't want to tell you who my really great insurance agent is, because I would rather you go out of business by having a terrible.
Well, that's why
agent.
Sharkmatic. Sharkmatic.
Yeah, that's not Monk-matic.
No, Monk-o-matic.
No, but I understand what you're saying, and I talk to competitors all the time, and some are willing to share ideas, some are not. But to go a little bit deeper, I mean, would you do a search on LinkedIn? Would you look at reviews? Would you look at websites? Would you look at what people are saying about the agent on social? So it's all word of mouth?
That's usually how it's going right now. I mean, with social media being as big as it is now and being as grained as it has been, it's not yet at the forefront of that's going to be a business owner's first stop for exploring.
No, but it is in that due diligence. That is part of the steps, is to check.
Right, you're saying definitely the research, the background,
right. to do that
research.
Yeah,
it
it's
is still
that research.
Yeah, and it's becoming a bigger and bigger thing.
Yeah.
But just historically, it's always been a word of mouth thing. And to touch on your, not helping competitors thing, it really even wouldn't be a revenue driving factor.
Right.
I'm sure that us as agents, we can have a play or two on how much you're going to be spending on your insurance. Therefore, it'll affect your bottom line a little bit. But for the most part, it's just like, hey, this guy does construction really well. I think you'd enjoy working with him. It's not necessarily like, hey, I'd like to help you be a better competitor against me. It's just a good thing, good act of faith, more or less.
How much of your business comes from cold calling, where you actually know of the companies that do what you specialize in providing insurance for, and then call them up or try to find out who they're using for insurance? And if they're using somebody who's subpar, do you reach out to them?
That's a great question. And I don't ever really like to compare myself to others. I would prefer to just show them firsthand, have it be through a first touch meeting or a phone call, that we're the people to be with in regard to what they're doing specifically. I've always thought that, talking poorly about your competitors is just, one, it's just not a good look in the first place, and two, it makes them relevant to any degree. And so it's never really depending on who they're currently with and that I can do a better job. It's just that we do a great job and that we should be working with y'all.
And we need to do a stoic edition of the Let's Talk Business podcast, and then we'll feature Ted. He's very stoic about these things.
He's very.
You don't compare yourself to others.
He's on
You just-
purpose.
Yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I know.
To answer your
good
question,
thank
though,
you.
probably like 50% of them. A lot of them have come in from my personal network and, just referrals through that existing network.
Awesome.
Yeah, Ted certainly conveys that he knows what he's talking about. He doesn't overtalk things. He gives you straight answers. It's kind of
Well,
refreshing.
And in every business, you want great reputation and great word of mouth. Where social media, web, search engine optimization, all these other things come into play is to substantiate that and to broadcast that message to a broader audience. You're already that. How do you reach people that haven't met you guys yet?
Exactly. Yep. That's touches on the whole, is authority marketing correct? Or, where you put yourself out there and let people come to you rather than cold calling them. It's a very big addition into that specifically.
I have one of my clients that I recently hired. We hired a VA for him, a VA with a master's degree, believe it or not. And he's just like over the moon excited about everything. And he's like, but he's a business guy. He said, hey, you need to sit down with your clients right, close to after you got the hiring, and then do a Zoom and record that and get that positive feedback straight away. Is this something that what are you doing for testimonials? Or is it just Google? Are you doing anything outside of that?
I've tapped a couple emails, or tapped a couple clients for, just an email on their experience working with me, in order to pass that on to a prospect, pass it on to a newer client that we brought on, so on and so forth. And then, I've also asked a good amount of them, not necessarily for referrals, and this is, doesn't only apply to insurance. This can go across the board. Not asking for referrals, but just asking for an introduction. It's the same thing. It means the same thing, but it's just a little bit more different. And you're not asking someone, hey, can you get me in the door here? Can you ask this person to work with me? It's, can you just introduce them to me and let me have a conversation with them and show them that, we know what we're doing.
Third-party validation. But what about on video? But have a Zoom call with them, and is that something you could do or no?
Definitely something I could do. I haven't explored it yet. It's something worth looking into.
What are your thoughts on that, Howie? Collecting, basically, hey, you're a new client. What was the new client experience? Give me that feedback.
Yeah, all good stuff. So I say try every form of marketing and communication, and those things that start to work, do more of it. Those things that are not working, do less of them. So I'm sort of in between the Ted and Marc model of less is more and more is better. I think it's somewhere in between. I think more of the things that work is better.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but it's finding those things that work and being fresh. And that comes through volume, go, go, go. And Howie, you are go, go, go. I mean, you're constantly on the move. And, we see you out there. And Ted, that's another thing. You guys are constantly networking and growing where you're at. It just needs to be on social media. Like you do it well. And I'm looking forward to seeing more content from you when you're out there meeting with folks and doing your
By the way, Ted actually had sent me a friend request on LinkedIn before I was looking for him to send it to him, and he had already sent it. Now all I have to do is accept it.
Well, you hit block. Why did you
I'm
do
like,
that? So
who is
Ted,
this guy?
so if a company is looking for insurance, so what are some important factors when it comes to buying and renewal on insurance?
Of course. So I just want to preface this by giving you all a better idea of the insurance renewal process. How I'm sure you've got your professional liability, your media liability, et cetera, that you carry for your advertising agency. It's on an annual renewal basis. And so every year as a business owner, you're, going through that renewal where they are getting you new offerings from that carrier or additional carriers in order to begin a new annual term of carrying that liability insurance. There are multiple ways that people go about doing this as agents. There are multiple ways that business owners go about doing it as a business owner. And here's how I believe it should be done. There are do's and don'ts to this process. And, some of the do's are, you ultimately want to find yourself staying with the best possible carrier that can take care of your specific risks and exposures that you have. you don't want to be bouncing around from carrier to carrier every other year. It's ideally, best to find yourself with one carrier and find a good home with them and have your agent, go to bat for you every single year and offering better pricing, better terms, get rid of those bad exclusions, add the good endorsements, so on and so forth. And that's pretty much it regarding the cycle. But things that insurance professionals need to do is, you want to be working with someone who will go to bat for you at renewal every year. Those people at the carriers that are generating those offers, they're humans, they're people, and you can have amazing relationships with them. Just recently, I'm working a new business opportunity, and I'm working with an underwriter at a carrier that I've got a great relationship with. He sent us his offerings. We were able to go back to him and just say, hey, this is a new business. They've got a lot of great experience doing this. I think this rate's a little high. What do you say we lower it down to maybe around here instead? And, we met in the middle a little bit. But either way, due to the fact that I went back to that underwriter who gave us an offering and, negotiated with him on it, I was able to tell my, soon-to-be clients that, hey, we got this lowered down a little bit actually, and we got you X, Y, and Z, whereas, you would have just had, A, B, and C. And they were ecstatic to hear that. They were very happy to hear that we were able to get them better terms and offerings, and through negotiation and through us painting a good picture to a carrier and going to bat for them as their agency.
I didn't even know that was a thing. So
Mhm.
I guess negotiation is one of the traits we should be
Well,
looking for.
it's because Ted said he's dealing with humans.
Yeah.
If you're dealing with just some corporate entity that you can't talk to people, and we know those exist on the internet, and there's nobody to talk to, guess what? You just got to abide by their rules or their pricing. But when you have the human factor, you might get more coverage, other things covered, less things excluded, at a better premium. And then that shows that there's value, especially somebody, because you're not going to do that in every industry. But if you're an expert in certain industries and you've already built, like you said, relationships with people where you know, like, and trust them, they know, like, and trust you, and you've been bringing them good clients for the underwriter, then they're more likely to work with you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's why it's also good to, be working with someone in that industry that knows it really, really well. And then that way, whenever, they know as a business owner that they're being brought to, that person's carrier with that underwriter relationship, that they're going to get something good. And I wanted to tie this in as well. Why it's good to not hop around is because you almost adopt this sense of, the boy who cried wolf. It's like, you get these underwriters that will see accounts that were marketed to them every single year, but they never won that account. And so therefore, every single time that you shop around and bring it, you start bringing other agents into the mix, which is another thing you don't want to do. You want to work with one agent, one professional. You're keeping the, basically the social image and the marketability image of that account, your account. You're keeping it intact in the best way possible. So that underwriter knows, I've never seen this account before. It's usually been with XYZ carrier for the longest time. It's getting submitted to us. Let's take this seriously. Let's, sharpen our pencils on this one. And so that's just why it's very important to, not only try to find one carrier and make them your home, but to work with one agent as well. Once you bring other agents into the mix, toes start getting stepped on, markets get blocked, carriers get unhappy, and ultimately it's just not beneficial to anyone at all in the mix. And so good to find one professional and to stay with them, definitely.
Great advice. All right, Ted, if folks want to get in touch with you, how do they do that?
My phone number is 210-851-8148. My email is ted.henderson@relationinsurance.com. And I'm on LinkedIn. It's Ted Henderson. And our website is the www.theinsourceinsuranceagency.com. And I'd be very happy to help out anyone in regard to any way that we can insurance-wise.
Did I see Ted Henderson the second?
Oh, I guess, yeah, that is on there.
Oh, yeah.
Not Junior, the second.
No, not the second.
Yeah, that's right.
Are you royalty? That sounds like royalty.
No, but shout out Dad for throwing the Roman numerals on there and not
Yeah.
Junior.
Oh, yeah. No kidding, right? All right. Well, thanks, Ted. I appreciate you coming in. Howie, can you hit the forward button on that arrow up there, and we'll move to the next screen. For those of you watching on video, we're actually trying to get fancier and fancier in here, so we're, we actually got a little bit of a big screen thing going on. We're going to be talking to Cody Carlisle, a ticket sales rep at the San Antonio FC. Cody, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
First time in. Looks like you got all your notes in front of you. You ready to go?
Yeah, pretty much ready for it, yeah.
So We said it earlier, but the San Antonio Spurs owns San Antonio FC.
That's correct. Since 2016, since the inception of the team into the USL League that we play in now.
Okay. And the San Antonio FC, it's a professional team, meaning
correct.
what? What does that mean? It's a professional team?
So when I think of a professional team versus like semi-pro or the comparison between major league and minor league is our goal at the end of the day is not player development. Our goal is winning. So when our guys hit the field, their focus is on winning the game that is right now, and ultimately, following through on an entire year and winning a championship. And so
I like that because in other sports, even in soccer, you have feeder teams.
Right.
And those are player development.
Right.
They're trying not to get hurt. They don't want to get overplayed. They're being evaluated. And it's not so much about winning or losing.
Exactly. And in our case, there is player development going on, but that's kind of a byproduct of what we're really there to do.
Cool. All right. And so how did you get involved with San Antonio FC? What's the backstory there?
Yeah. So I have a little bit of a background in sales. I have a background in everything, but most recently in actually insurance sales, funny enough. So I was learning even from you, hearing some of those things. But my wife and I decided after starting a family that we needed to move closer to San Antonio, and the Spurs were always on my radar. I always told my wife, like when we got married, that if the Spurs ever called my name, then I was going there, and to some chagrin. But it worked out. We made it. As we started to look into moving to San Antonio, I started to look into some of the different jobs and positions that were at the Spurs organization. San Antonio FC was one of those. Funny enough, I actually did get this job through LinkedIn. The manager who hired me had just gotten her position in March of last year, and I reached out to her, congratulating her, and what was the process like? How can that help me out? And she got back to me and said nothing about any of the questions I asked her, and just said, we're starting up interviews for a sales team. Would you like an interview? And
so this social media thing is going to be big.
I don't
think
know
it's
if Cody
gonna work.
believes in it or
Oh,
not. So give me a little background on the team.
Okay, so San Antonio FC has existed in in the form it currently is since 2016. A lot of people like to talk about the San Antonio Scorpions. We are a different team. The Scorpions played for the NASL, the North American Soccer League, and we actually kind of got an upgrade in the league to USL. So USL is a large corporate league. Technically just a step under Major League Soccer, MLS, and we play in the top tier of that league, USL Championship. So since 2016, the team has been pretty successful, kind of sticking with San Antonio's legacy of excellence in sports, and the Spurs have it, and they bought in. And when you get an organization like that knows what they're doing and has a demonstrated background in that, then you expect some success. And part of that background too involves when the team was first established, there was a look to jump into Major League Soccer that ultimately didn't pan out. And as a result of that, kind of finding our footing again and sticking it back to a team that took that from us in a way. We actually got to win our championship last year, and so that's sort of the pathway. We've built our team to be a championship winning team.
Are there players that go from here to MLS?
Sometimes, yeah, and in fact, it happens the other way around. Even sometimes, there's a loan system that's sort of in place where we can have players come in from other places who are at that caliber, but maybe aren't seeing the playing time because there's somebody else in their position that's more established, right? Something like that comes in, and so occasionally we'll have players come the other way, even. And so it works both directions. We do see players move on to MLS if that's what gets called. We've even seen players move internationally to other leagues. So it's very interesting to watch.
Soccer is one of these really fun games to watch whether they're scoring or not. And if you talk to anybody outside the United States, I mean, they can get so excited about a 0-0 match. But
we can too.
Yeah, but why is there that attraction in soccer compared to? Because I've been to other sporting events, American football, baseball, and there's so much like break in between and just so much downtime, you know. But soccer and even SAFC, it's so much fun to watch. It's a lot of yelling, a lot of like what can fans expect when they come out to a game?
Yeah, it's absolutely the traditional soccer experience, and I think to your point, right? It's that there are not as many breakages. There's not as much stoppage time, right? You constantly are going, and that kind of keeps the excitement level at a medium, right? We're always going. And so for that, when you come out, the best thing that you can experience is the electricity of the crowd, right? The 0-0 matches are fun. They're exciting. It's fun to watch, the goalies get incredible saves. It's fun to watch, incredible saves off of incredible tries, right? Those kinds of things are really exciting to watch. But I don't think there's anything that compares to hearing the crowd when we put the ball in the back of the net.
Gotcha. And I've talked to people who have bought season tickets from you, and one of the things they say about you, Cody, is that you create an experience for them when they get to the game. Can you talk a little bit about what that means to get season tickets and to get access and to maybe go down to the field or take some pictures and that kind of stuff?
Yeah, absolutely. So with season tickets, there's a highly personal touch to the way that we do it. We have a team. I'm one of a team of 5 sales representatives that we have, and then what we do when we sell a season ticket is we pass it over to a service team, and that service team takes care of their own book of business, essentially. So when you are coming over, you are dealing with one person. You're not calling into a grab bag of whoever answers the phone that day. You're calling your sales rep. You're calling Thomas. You're calling Claire. You're calling Adriana, and you're going to get that person on the phone. And you're going to get communication that is directly from them consistently about the team, what's happening. What are the events that we're doing, whether it's a game or something else that's happening. But then, on top of that, our season ticket members get quite a few major benefits to a lot of those things. There are opportunities to go onto the field, to be, we have season ticket member of the match is a thing. We have an opportunity to take a picture with the starting 11 if it's sort of chosen by the service squad members. And so, it helps to build relationships with them to stay top of mind.
So you're saying they're humans.
Yeah.
We're dealing with humans.
Exactly,
So there's
exactly.
opportunities.
Well, as a business owner, right, if I'm looking to impress a client, I want to take a client to something or reward a customer or whatever, that's where I know some of these sporting event type situations offer an elevated experience to make me as a business owner look good and the clients feel good. So,
absolutely. So I would even argue that, that's how I use the product. If I have somebody who has interest, but I'm not sure about the schedule, I'm not sure about the maybe the financial side, maybe it doesn't totally make sense, then I use it in that way. Hey, come out with me, come and see this real time, and I'll go and sit with them. I'll go sit with them for 5-10 minutes out of the half that I have, to go in and meet with people and just watch the game with them and talk to them about, why are you excited about soccer? What makes you love this? And there's an atmosphere, there's an emotion that's tied to that. And so if I can use it that way, then I think similarly we can, it could follow that you could use it the same way.
And you have some flexibility that your sister company that plays basketball doesn't have, right?
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
So a lot of that is sort of the nature of our league and where we play, right? We aren't the top tier league of soccer, right? Or of basketball in the world. And so it allows us to be maybe a little bit more affordable, right? My top price, if you're coming into the gate for a ticket, is about $62. that's probably going to be your minimum price running to the Spurs this year. And so
Yeah.
it's not as
That'll get you a popcorn at the Spurs game.
There you go. Yeah.
$2.
So it may not be quite as glamorous. It's an outdoor venue, and it's maybe not quite the top professional league, but it is a fantastic experience. It's still a professional soccer game. These guys do things that I couldn't dream of doing. And it's fun to get there, to watch it happen, and to take pride in something that is the city of San Antonio, like we do so well.
And the flexibility is you can go to some games, not to others, trade them in, get more tickets for one game and not go to another one, right?
That's one of my favorite benefits. We actually do. We call it the flex benefit. It allows you to move tickets around. There's 19 games in a season, and for that we go through, 17 are regular season, and 2 are exhibitions where we invite other teams, something like that. And out of those 17 regular season matches, 15 of those are flexible. You can move them around as needed.
So when it comes to like businesses, because I'm all about the entrepreneur, small business guy, right, that wants to entertain their clients or whatever. Can you give me an example of industries that are like, whether it's insurance or whether it's website development, SEO, as far as clients go, what industries have you seen come through, and how was that for them?
Yeah, so I think one of the most satisfying groups that we have on a regular basis is going to be blue-collar workers, because these are the guys that just want to hang out, right? They've gone through a really rough week or a hard-working week. They might have worked 6 days, Monday to Saturday, and on Saturday we've got something that they can get off of work, go hang out with their friends, have a beer, have a nice time, and I mean, it's relaxing. It's fun and it's relaxing. And it takes a load off of the stress that comes with working through that, and so that's sort of.
And they're already used to working outdoors, so they're outdoors. What difference does it make?
Yeah, they're outdoors, and it's dark outside.
And it's dark. No, but you know what? It's a lot of fun to be outdoors at sporting events. I was at a Missions baseball game a couple of weeks ago, and I had a blast. I hadn't been down there in years. And yeah, just find the shade,
right?
Move over a little bit and then go inside, go get a beer, and then come back out. It's a blast. And soccer games are the same way. It's a blast.
Absolutely.
So
it's a good time out there for sure.
All right, Cody, if people want to get in touch with you, how do they do that?
So I have, you can reach us at sanantoniofc.com, the website that we have posted here, through the staff page. I do have my phone number posted, and it's the best phone number, I think, in the company. It is 210-444-5556.
Easy to remember.
Absolutely. And then you can also find me on social media. I am on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, but I'm working on getting to use that a little bit more.
Well, let's see, easy to remember. What's the number?
It's 210-444-5556.
Oh, nice. And that's why you're the main host.
Wow.
Nice job.
Now I'm all stressed out. My cortisol levels are high.
Go get a beer at the
I didn't
soccer
know I was
game.
going to get tested while I was here. I'll be like that one guy. I'm sorry, I'm not taking any questions right now. I have to remember that one down. Did we get a Howieism for today?
I think we got a couple.
Yeah,
Were there?
We
Okay.
had some early.
I don't
Okay,
think I labeled
I'll
them.
leave you with this one. You don't have time to work with people who work against you.
Well said.
All right, as we wrap up the show, quick reminder, check out our latest podcast or catch video versions of the show anytime by visiting our website at SNTalkRadio.com. That's going to be it for us. Thanks for coming in. Thanks, everybody. You guys have a great week.
Thank you, guys.